Hi guys, my name is Patrick, but you can call me 26. And what we're going to do today is we are finally going to get to our matches screen, right? Now, our matches screen is going to do a couple of things. It's going to show you the users who like you, right? If you're a VIP user, that is, you're going to get your matches, right? So you're going to get the people who you're matched with. You're also going to get the users who like you, and you're also going to get people you have passed on, right? Like if you didn't match them and then maybe you have changed your mind after the passage of time and you would like to pick them, we are going to build that, right? So those are going to be the three buttons that we have here, right? So one of them is going to be for the users that like you. Then others are going to be those who have matched with you, but you have not yet matched with them, i.e. we're just waiting on you to match with them and then complete the circle, if you would. And then those that you have passed on, right? So right now we're just using placeholders, and this entire view is going to be built with SwiftUI, right? Just like the previous view, we're going to work now completely with SwiftUI. So that's what you're going to be doing today. So let's get to it. Okay, let's get to it, right? So this is where we left off things. Let's just have a look. Okay, right, and we worked on this last, right? So we now have that, right? But what we want to do is work on this, right? This is the only page that is currently unadorned with anything. Now, originally I wanted to build this page with UIKIT, but I decided to also incorporate or use SwiftUI here, right? So let's get to it. So let's come to our views. And the first thing we want to do, this is going to be the page where you're going to see if somebody likes you and you're a VIP user, you're going to have the ability to like them. You're also going to get the people who have previously liked you, right? So if you have matched already, this is where your matches are going to be. And if you're a VIP user, you're going to see the people you have rejected and also the people who you have rejected, and also the people who have liked you but you have not liked them back, right? So you're going to have that ability if you're a VIP user. So let's see that in action. Come here, hit Command N, and this is going to be, like I said, we're going to be building using a SwiftUI view, right? And this one is going to be called user view, like so. And we're going to have this. So we're going to use our image. I believe it's of Sadio Mane, right? So and say it's going to be dependent. So all the images are going to be exactly the same. The difference is going to be we're going to redact some if you're a VIP, or not redact them if you're not a VIP, right? So what we need here is to come here and say something like var is VIP, and is VIP is going to be a boolean, right? So you're either a VIP or you're not. So it's going to be a boolean, right? And then the next thing would be to come here and have the image. Okay, let's put this here. And we come here and we say image, like so. And this is going to be dot Liverpool, right? So we're going to have Liverpool there. It's not going to show because we have not included that. And let's fix that and say dot true. Let's say true, like so, right? So we're going to do that, and we have Liverpool, and let's see Sadio Mane right there. I think now is in Saudi Arabia, right? So then we're going to make it resizable, of course, dot resizable, like so. Then we're going to say dot aspect ratio, and the content mode is going to be dot fit, right? So we have that, and we have the content mode there being fit, and then afterwards we say dot frame, and the frame is going to have a width, and the width is going to be 240. Then we're going to come here and we say dot blur, and the blur, the radius is going to be something like, it's going to be dependent on whether or not you're a VIP, right? So what you're going to see is if you're a VIP, you're not going to get any blur, right? You're going to see the image vividly and clearly, right? But if you're not a VIP, you're going to get the you're going to get the blur on it, right? So a number that worked well for me was 15, right? So if you put 15, you can see the outline of a human, you can see the color of their clothes, maybe even you can tell their skin tone from it, but you can't see who it is, right? So it's a bit obscured, right? So the more you increase the blur radius, the less visible it is. So I thought 15 was good. So this is going to be dependent on whether you're a VIP. So we say is VIP. If you're a VIP, it's true, then the blur radius is 0. Else, it's 15, right? So here is VIP, right? Oh, this should be a ternary. So we check the ternary, and is VIP is true, we get this, right? If we make this false, let's make this false. What do we get? We get this blur, right? So that's what it's going to look like depending on whether you're a VIP or you're not, right? So we cycle between those two. That's how a VIP looks like. That's how a VIP doesn't look like. It's all good, right? Then after this, we have an image. We'd like to put a name, right? Now, the reason we're going to put the name on top of this, right? If we put a text, let's just put a text that you see, right? Let's like come here and put a V stack and say something like V stack, like so. And then put the image and then put a name here, right? If you put a blur on it, it's going to obscure the name. You're not going to be able to tell that there's going to be a name there, right? So that is basically it, right? So we have this, right? And if we come here and we say something like the text, and then the text is going to be something like, let's say Sadio, right? Let's put it as a Z stack so it's on top, right? So put it as a Z stack, and I can barely see Sadio. Okay, yeah, it's here. I can see it, but let's say dot foreground style rather. I'm still stuck in the old way. Dot color dot white, right? Let's do that. And why is this complaining? It's complaining because okay, not that, but say this color.white, right? So we get this Sadio, right? We can see it here. Now, if we put the blur radius, if we put false, I'm not sure you're going to see it. Oh, it says Z stack, so let's see. You're still going to get the name, right? But what we want is the name to sort of blend in with the background, right? So if we were to put the names like next to each other, like you put them in a V stack or an H stack that encompasses them, the blur radius might interfere with this, right? What we want is that we want an outline that is clearly visible of the name, right? So what we do is we could come here and we say something like and we align it so that the name can be flush here. And since we are writing in English, which is right to left, we're just going to come in to say alignment, and the alignment is going to be the bottom leading. So we do that, the name is going to be here, right? And then we come and say text, and here the text for now is going to be just the name. We pass in the name, so we say Sadio, and then after we pass in the name, what do we want to do? We want to say dot line limit. Line limit is going to be 1. Then we're going to say dot padding is going to be dot leading, a bit of padding on it, and then we're going to say dot foreground style. Foreground style is going to be let's say dot white, like so. Then we say dot font. Font is going to be dot system. Font is going to be dot system of size, and the size here is going to be, let's say something like 18, and the weight is going to be dot, okay, black is too heavy, let's say bold, right? Then after that we're going to say dot background, and the background is going to be color dot gray dot opacity. And what's the opacity? The opacity is going to be 0.3. So we do that, and that's going to be the name, right? So we can see clearly like there's a sort of background for it and then the name, right? And then what we want to do is we only want to see this if the user is a VIP, right? So we come here and we say, which will also check if you are, will coordinate sort of with the blur, right? So what we do is we say if is VIP, we do this, right? So we do that. Come here, cut this, paste this here. If you're a VIP, you're going to see that. Else, what you're going to have is going to be the same, but okay, copy, right? It's going to be the same, but what's the difference? The difference is going to be, we're going to use reducted, right? So we say dot redacted, right? And the redacted reason is going to be dot placeholder, right? So you're going to see like something that has been crossed out, right? So you can see that the name here has been crossed out, right? So it's a bit visible even with the blur, right? So that is basically it. And if you write here, come here and make it true. Let's see what it looks like, right? And that's going to be what? There's a background here, so the name can be a bit more visible, and then there's the name Sadio, right? So that's what we would do if we want to put the actual, this is going to be the actual image that you're going to use across our app. Across this section rather, not our app, but across this section, right? Now, the next thing you could notice is that here we're using a ternary, and we could use a ternary for the redacted, right, to show the redacted whether or not it should exist or not, right? So I've checked since how you pass an empty redacted reason. I was checking the the documentation, how to do it, and I've figured out how you can do it. So what we could do is we could come here and get rid of this, right, and then get rid of one of these, right? And then here for the reason, we're going to check whether or not you're a VIP. So we say is VIP, and then if you are, we're going to say an empty array, else we're going to put this, right? So that's going to work. And so if it's false, this is what it looks like. And if it's true, it's going to be empty, so we're going to get the name, right? So we have made a bit of simplification to our code, and if you ask me, it looks the better for it. Now, what is the next thing we want to do? The next thing we want to do is we would like to create our tab, the view that this is going to be contained in, right? So let's run this and I can explain a bit, right? So give it a second, let's just run it. And in particular, the view here, the matches, right? So what we would like here to have here is going to be, we would like to have all the views that will be essentially contained here, right? So all the views are going to be here, and depending on, you're going to see if you have matched somebody, you're going to get one of these, right? So the matches, if you come to the tab here and check, you're going to get the matches that you have made so far. Then if you check, there are going to be 3 buttons here, and that's what you're going to be creating right now. And we're going to be using this as a stock image for if you have matches, if you have rejections, or if you have somebody who likes you, right? Now, if you're a VIP, or if you're not a VIP, you're going to be getting the... If you're not a VIP, you are going to be getting the outlook of the person. You're not actually going to see them, right? And whatnot, right? So, and another thing you could think about is whether or not we actually want to be fetching the data of the actual person, right? We could have just a placeholder to show that somebody who likes them, right? We don't actually have to fetch the data from Firebase unless they are actually a VIP. That's another thing you could think of doing. We are going to be fetching it, right? But we want to make sure that we just show the outline if they do not have that, right? So that's another thing you could think in order to save on writes and reads, right? So that's one thing you should think about, right? So these are the view that all of them are going to be contained in, and we're going to have a tab bar at the top which you can cycle through, right? And for that to happen, we're going to go to I believe it's our constants. Let's go to our constants, and here we're going to have an enum, and the enum in question is going to be tab bar button, like so, and this is going to be of type string, like so, and then you're going to have case like is going to be and we have a lot of heart-shaped imagery for SF symbols, right? So not Safari but SF symbol, right? So we need to pick something that indicates that, and something with a heart, right? So we pick a heart that we haven't used before, right? So we say bold.heart.fill. Okay, this looks nice. Bold.heart.fill doesn't have a circle around it, but let's just copy that, right? Let's say this, come here, paste this, right? So that's going to be case like. Then we're going to have case match. Case match is going to be, let's come here and say this. This is going to be SF symbol. This is going to be star. And here we're just going to say star.circle.fill, right? Copy name, come here. Do that. And the third one is going to be case reverse, right? Now reverse is going to be, what's it going to be? It's going to be like this is where you can reverse swipes, right? If you've made a swipe that you think is wrong in retrospect, after some time. So let's see, reversal. Let's say change. Okay, chandelier. Change. This is going to be rewind. Is that rewind? Okay, I'm drawing up blanks and I'm thinking recycle. Recycle. Okay, I'm sure there's a recycle. Okay, there's no recycle. Ooh, okay. Let's think. What do we want? We want the reuse. Redo. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's do this, right? So let's pick this. Or rather something that you makes sense to you, right? So mine is going to be arrow.u-forward.circle, right? So that's going to be what our button is going to look like. And the next one is going to be, we come here and we say create a new, and this one is going to be a Swift UI view, and this one is going to be what's the name of the view? The view is going to be tab button view, like so. Hit this, come here, and what we would want is going to be the type. So we come here and we say var type, and what's the type going to be? It's going to be a type of tab bar button, right? The enum, and then you're going to have var action. What happens when you press it? And for now, it's just going to be not 90, but that, then this, then void, right? So that's going to be that, and then we want to check whether or not you select it. So we say whether it's selected, and it's going to be a different color depending on whether you're selecting it. We say var is selected, and this is going to be let's say boolean, like so. And then we're going to have the color, var color, and color is going to be of type color, right? So we have that is going to be done, like so. And the next one would be we would need to have the button, the action, and then the actual image, right? So that is going to be that. And let's see, let's come here and let's see, let's fix this, right? And type here, we're going to say dot let's say like for now is selected is going to be true. Okay, what's it? True. Color is going to be dot blue or something of the sort, right? And action is going to be let's just do that, right? And or rather, let's think about this, right? So what we want is going to be, it's just going to be a button, right? So let's come here and we put a button, and the button is going to have an action, and the action in question is going to be the action, like so. The label is going to be an image, and here we're going to have a system name. The system name is going to be the type dot row value, right? So we get that, and then you're going to make it resizable. So we say dot resizable, like so. Then we say dot aspect ratio, and this is going to be dot fit, like so. Then after that we say dot foreground style, and the foreground style is going to be dependent on whether it is selected. So we say is selected, like so. And the color is going to be color. If it's not selected, we're going to say color dot gray dot opacity. And what's the opacity? The opacity is going to be, let's say 0.5. Else if not, right, we're just going to say the color, right? So the color that's passed in, not this, but color, the one that we pass in, right? So that's going to be that, and that's going to stop complaining. And then afterwards, what you're going to have is going to be for the action, we could just come here and we say, what do you want to give it as an action? We just want to print when it's pressed something like ABC, like so, right? And if we reload our preview, our canvas, let's see what that looks like. Okay, that is selected. So this should be, if you are selected, this should be flipped, of course, right? So we should come here and say something like is selected should be color Then if it's not selected, have the gray, right? So after that, we just come in and get rid of this, right? So when you're selected, you get the color. If you're not selected, you get that, right? So that is more or less done. Let's see. This is like. Let's see. There's like. There's, I think, dot. Let's see the others. Dot match. Match is going to look like this. Okay. Of course, you're going to pass in different colors, so don't worry about the current garish blue color. It's going to be different. And the third one is going to be dot reverse, right? So we have reverse, and oh my god, reverse does look a bit, it doesn't look the best, but yeah, okay. But yeah, for now, that's what it's going to be, right? So that's going to be our button. And now, what's the next thing we need to do? The next thing we need to do is, let's put them in a view, right? So let's create a view, and we could put it in different places, right? We could put it in views here, or we could remain consistent with what we've done so far, put it in controllers, but I'm just going to put it here, right? Come here, and it's going to be called, let's give our buttons a frame, right? So come here and we say dot frame. And what's the frame? The frame is going to have a height, and the height is going to be 40, right? So we have that, that's going to be the size, and then now let's figure out where to put it, right? Come here, this is going to be, the Swift UI view is going to be likes, like so. Hit that, and that's going to be that, right? Now we have likes view, and what you're going to do here, is we are going to have a state variable. So we come here and we say, this is going to be a state variable, state, and this is going to be, we say private var, and this is going to be selected, right? Selected is going to be of type tab bar button, and we're going to start off at dot reverse, right? So we say dot reverse like so. Then we come here, and what we're going to have here is we're going to have a v stack. Let's have a v stack. And in the v stack, we're going to have an h stack, so that you can put them all together, h stack, right? So we have that. And then afterwards, we're going to put our various tab button views, right? So we come here and say tab button view, right? And this tab button view is going to be, the type is going to be dot like, and the action, we just hit enter, is selected. We're not going to do anything. We're going to say true, like so, and the color is going to be dot yellow, right? So we say yellow like so, and we need a bunch of them, right? Let's come here and do this. Okay, I don't know why it's complaining, but let's have that. We have that, and we need a couple of them. Let's come here, copy this, and copy it a bunch of times, right? Okay. Leave that blank, and we have 2 of them, and then come here and do this, right? So we have the 3 of them, right? And get rid of this placeholder. Then we can see the 3 of them, but we don't want them to be like this, right? What we want is different colors. So this is going to be yellow. This is going to be red. This is going to be green, right? So we have different colors, green, like so. And then after we have the colors, the next thing to do is we would like the types. This is like, so this should not be like, this should be match. This is going to be dot match, like so. Then we have dot reverse, like so, right? So we have those 3, perfect, right? Now the next thing we need to do is we would like to push them to the very top. So we just come here and say something like spacer. So we do that, that pushes them to the top. Then we want to push them to the very edges, so we put a couple of spacers. Come here and say spacer, like so, and spacer, like so, and then put a spacer, like so, and then put a spacer here, right? So we have that, right? Now let's see whether we can press something and get something. We say print, and this is going to be 1, and we could copy this, and this is going to be copy, come here, paste this, come here, paste that. This is going to be print, and we say 2, and this is going to be print, say 3, right? So if we do this, let's try it out. Are we seeing this, right? Okay, let's see that. And that works, right? Let's see our code. So let's try it out. Let's come here and we press this and we put our previews, right? And we can see the numbers, right? So we see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it works, right? But now we want them to cycle between the various values, right? So what we want to do is, if is selected, right? If is selected, what we would like to do is come here and we say selected. If is selected, selected is going to be the type it is, right? Which is going to be dot like. Then we come here to the second one and say selected is going to be dot match, and the third one, and third and final one, is going to be selected is going to be dot reverse, right? So that's going to be that. And the next one is going to be to figure out how when you press the button it changes, right? So what we want is come here and we say, simply repeat the process. Say selected here is going to be assigned to dot like, right? Then we come here and we say selected is going to be assigned to dot match, and finally, last but not least, is going to be selected is going to be dot reverse. Okay, that's going to be that. What's the next thing that we're going to do? The next thing we need to do is figure out how it works, right? So if we pick this, you see this is yellow, the rest are gray. Come here, this is red, the rest are gray. Come here, this is green, the rest are gray. And since they're buttons, they have that nice animation. So you now know that everything is working as it should. Let's continue. Now, the next thing we need to do is we just need to figure out how we can show a different view whenever a user presses one of these buttons, right? And for that, we could just come and say, give it a name, something like funk. I was going to call it likes view, but now I realize that there's likes and view, and it can be a bit confusing, right? So let us call it corresponding view, right? So it's the view that corresponds to the button press, or something more apropos, right? So we have this, and we're just going to switch on selected, switch selected, like so, and we get all three, right? And what we would like to do is just say, let's say, in case of this, we're just going to return text dot that particular value, right? So we say selected dot row value, right? So we do this, and let's put it on all three, right? Just copy this, come to match, do the same, come here, do the same, right? Now the next thing to do is in our VStack here, right? After this, we're just going to say, should we, okay. We probably should put the corresponding view and then the spacer, right? So that's like so, right? So now when we do this, we're going to see arrow.uturn.forward.circle because we default it to reverse, right? So it starts at reverse. If we come here, we get star.circle.fill and bold.heart, right? So one thing we could do is, instead of this, we could just show colors, because text do not expand to occupy as much space as is available, but colors do. So colors would be better at illustrating this, right? So let's put colors, and I'm thinking of how we would do that. But with colors, so we can't come here and say that something like return color.red, right? We can't do this, and the reason for that is because we're returning some view, so all views should be essentially the same, right? So if we have color.red, we should say color.green, color.blue, color.gray, or something like that, right? But we could do that by just making sure that we return a view, right? So since it says some view, we could come here and we say something like let view, and view is just going to be color.red, and then return any view, any view, with the view in question being the view, like so, right? So if we do this, this will work. So why is it complaining? But does not have the, but here we do have the return any view and view, right? So this is complaining for some reason. I think this should work. Okay, but we could we would need to do it the same for this, right? So we would come here and we say this is just to show you how we could do it, right? So I'm trying to think how we would do it. View, and the view here is just going to be the text. Let's just do this, right? Cut, then the view here is going to be this. Then we come here and we say return any view, and then the view in question is just going to be the view, right? And we do the same here. We say that the reverse here is going to be the same here, right? Let's just do this. So copy this, come here, do this, repeat the trick a couple of times, and after we do that, okay, now it's going to work, right? So we come here, this is going to be start.circle, and here we get red, right? So we get red, start.circle. So that's how you would do it, right? But if you, since colors would illustrate this the best, is the yellow one should get color.yellow, right? So we say yellow. And then this one is red, so we say this should get color.red. Red, and then this one is green, so it should get color.green, right? So if we do this, now we can cycle through the various colors, and since colors expand to occupy as much space as possible, they're push out views. I've had them being described as push out views. This is what it would look like, right? So this is actually we can now cycle through them pretty straightforwardly, if that is a word. It's pretty straightforward on how we cycle through them, right? So that is done, and we can proceed from here. So let's proceed. Now, what's the next thing we need to do? The next thing we need to do is let's create views that we're going to show here, right? So let's come here and we say command done, and this one is going to be called reusable match view, like so, right? Hit like that, and then the next thing is going to be come here and we say var is VIP, and this is going to be boolean, right? So we get that, and then after that, what you're going to do is we are going to come here and we say scroll view, like so, and this is going to be dot vertical, like so, and shows indicator is going to be dot false. Okay, it's going to be false for now, right? So it doesn't show the indicator, and what you're going to do is check is VIP if not is VIP, right? If you aren't a VIP, you're going to get this. You're going to get something like text, and this is going to be something like up. Text is going to be something like upgrade to see who likes you, right? So we do that, and this is going to be false. Come here, say false. So we do that. It's going to be, give it a second. It's going to take its sweet time, but it's going to get there eventually, as we always do, right? And then we come here and we say dot line limit. Line limit is going to be, let's say, 2 dot foreground style is going to be dot black, like so, and dot font, I don't really care. Dot system size is going to be 16. Weight is going to be dot medium, right? Like so, and that's going to be that. What's the next? Give it some padding. Come here, say padding dot padding. Okay, so that is going to be that. So if you're not a VIP, you're not going to see this, right? So we come in to say true, it disappears, right? So it's only visible if you're not a VIP, right? Then after that, we're going to have a lazy V grid. So let's come here after this, right, we're just going to have a lazy vgrid like so, and here we're going to have the columns in question. The columns are just going to be, we come here and we say grid item. The columns are going to be grid item, and here we're going to say dot flexible. Let's just say flexible, that's enough, right? Flexible like so, and we're going to have, it should be an array, of course. The columns are supposed to be an array, right? Let's just get rid of this placeholder for now, and the columns, and this is going to be, it requires an array, right? So we have that, and this is just going to be grid item like so, grid item, and we say dot flexible like so, and we don't need this or this, right? Flexible, and since it's just going to be 2 of them, we could come here, copy this, copy, put a comma, put this, and add that, right? So we have that. Of course, it expects some content, and here we're going to say user view, and the user view in question is going to be dependent on the isVIP. isVIP is going to be isVIP, right? So isVIP like so, and we could come here and we say for our content, we could just say for each, and we go from 0 to 6. Cut this, paste this here, right? So that's going to be that, and then maybe give it a frame 4, not 4, for each, right? And let's see, come here, say underscore in, right? That's going to be that, and maybe give it a frame. Come here, say we want the frame, and here we're going to say the height is going to be, let's say 240, right? Okay, so that's going to be that, and after this we could give after this the lazy vgrid, right? We could give it some padding, say dot padding, and we say we want it horizontal, right? So we do that, and that's going to be that, and let's make sure that this is true. We see what it looks like, right? Okay, that's what Sadio is going to look like. A bit squished, if you ask me, but what we could do next is maybe use a geometry reader to calculate the space a bit better. What's the next thing we need to do? It doesn't look exactly what we want it to look like, right? So what we do is we could go to the user view. Let's go back to the user view. Let's see. Okay, there's a user view controller and a user view, right? So it can be picking which is which can be a bit right. So what we want to do is let's wrap everything. Let's come here and hit Command, Option, and left key, and we wrap our Z stack inside a geometry reader like so. So we have that. Come here, wrap it inside a geometry reader, and in the geometry reader we're just going to say geo in. And what we want to do is for the frame, instead of saying this, we're just going to pass in the frame from the geometry with, what's the geometry? This is going to be geo.size dot width, right? And then the height is going to be geo.size dot height, right? And if we do that, maybe we give everything a let's just give everything a corner radius, right? Come here and we say dot corner radius. I know it's been deprecated, but let's just do 16 like so, and then we go back to where we were, and maybe now they look a bit better than yeah, they look a bit better now, right? And if we say false here, it's gonna look like so, right? So now we have something that looks a bit better. Let's proceed from there. now what we're going to do next is we are going to figure out what to show, right? And for that, we just come to our likes view, and that's where we're going to have everything, right? So in the likes view, we are going to come here and we say, instead of this view, we're just going to call the reusable match view, and is VIP here is going to be false, right? And then we're going to come here and we say, this is going to be the reusable VIP match view, or whatever we call it. The reusable VIP here is going to be true. Put it on a different line. Then we come here, and this is going to be reusable, and this is going to be false, false. Let's make this false, right? So we do that, and you see this is what it looks like. So when you select this, of course, the reusable match view is going to be fed with different data from the view and then the reverse view, right? So it's going to be fed with different data, which you're going to do at that point when you get to that time, right? So from Firebase, right? So here we come and we see these are the various views, right? This is what it looks like, right? So we can cycle through them, right? Pretty straightforward, right? So it's working the way we want it to, and let's proceed. Let's put everything on the screen, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to come here and say that likes view let's put it here, right? So let's remove the background color first. Let's get rid of the background color. This will just tell us that everything is where it's supposed to be, right? And what we'd want to do is come here and we say let likes view, and likes view is just going to be likes, like so. Then we come here and we say let hosting controller, and this is going to be UI hosting controller. The root view is going to be the likes view, right? So make sure I've imported Swift UI just in case, right? To get the UI hosting controller, and then we're going to come here and we say add child, and the child we want to add is going to be the hosting controller, like so. And then we come here and we say view dot add subview, and the subview in question is going to be hosting controller dot view, like so. And we say hosting controller dot did move to parent, and the parent here we're just going to say the self, like so. And after that we say okay, now the next thing we need to do is just come in and we say hosting controller dot view dot anchor. And what's the anchor? The anchor is going to be the top is going to be wait, is there a fill superview? I know there's a fill superview method, right? So let's do this and see what it looks like, right? Run it, and we're getting no errors. Let's see it in action. Come here, and we do get this, right? So we do get this, and we can effectively cycle through them, right? And okay, jump to definition, right? And let's see, dot padding dot top, let's say 32, right? Okay, let's see what that looks like now. Okay, there's a bit more padding now, right? 32 is a lot. Let's make it 24, right? So we're putting padding on the V stack here in the likes, right? So we come here, see this, and we can now swipe through. We get this, and so there, right? So this is complete Swift UI, and we have successfully integrated it, right? So that's that, right? Perfect, as it should be, right? So that is working as it should be. Okay, so thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.